Governor Roy Cooper is a friend to the Lumbee people. He's a friend to the people of Robeson County and of the state of North Carolina. He's proven his service, and I'm so looking forward to him championing rural North Carolina that he truly believes in and the Lumbee way of life. God bless the state of North Carolina, the Lumbee tribe, and all the people here today. And please give a warm welcome to the Governor of North Carolina, Mr. Roy Cooper.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Chairman Godwin. Thank you for your friendship and your leadership, Dr. Porter. Thank you for your leadership. Grady Hunt already is a leader on the State Board of Transportation, and I'm grateful for his service and representation not only of the Lumbee tribe, but this entire area. Brooke and Matt and Malcolm, all of the young leaders who are here, the Tribal Council, thank you for being here and for your service to the Lumbee tribe. And thank you to this great university, which is an economic engine for southeastern North Carolina. It is a leader in a place where we need to make sure we concentrate our efforts. Yes, Chairman God, I am an early riser. I was a farm boy. Worked hard on the farm growing up. Really wanted a job with air conditioning when I grew up because of it, and I'm grateful for that. And I am grateful for the values that my mom and dad gave to me growing up. We have a link, which is I-95. I grew up in Nash County, and am grateful for the people that I grew up around and the values that they gave me. The value of hard work, the value of a dollar, the value of family, the value of a deep faith in God, the value of public education. My mom was a public school teacher. I'm the product of our public schools. My 3 daughters are products of the public schools. I am grateful for the opportunities that public schools can give us. So those values shape who I am and what I want to do as governor. And people often ask me, what do you want out of this? What do you want out of being governor? I tell them this. I want a North Carolina population that's better educated, that's healthier, and they got more money in their pockets, and the opportunity to live a more abundant and purposeful life. That's what I want. The people I've appointed to office, the people that we've hired to serve in state government, I tell them to keep that vision at the forefront of their mind as they approach their day-to-day work. Because that goal is much easier said than done. Having grown up in rural eastern North Carolina, I know the challenges, but I also know the opportunities. We often talk about the challenges of rural North Carolina, and yes, they are great. And yes, we see those challenges here in southeastern North Carolina and in Robeson County. The challenges of poverty and trying to pull people out of it. The challenges of affordable housing. The challenges of trying to get good educators to come and live here. The challenges of having a well-trained workforce that will attract the kind of jobs that we want. The challenges of infrastructure, water, sewer, roads, broadband. We know those challenges, but we also know the opportunities. The opportunities are people who are hardworking, who care about each other. The opportunities are the great diversity that we have in rural North Carolina, and particularly in Robeson County. I believe diversity is our strength. And we're going to continue to see that more and more. This is why I have appointed the most diverse cabinet in the history of the state of North Carolina. I believe that we should have a state government that looks like the people that it serves. And these are opportunities for us. And I believe that you look at this land and you look at the open space and you look at the quality of life. This is a place where we can attract people. We can attract certain kinds of jobs. We can't attract all kinds of jobs. We know that. But what we have to do is to find our strengths and play to our strengths. Now, this economic conference, which I think is a wonderful idea, and this is the second annual one, and when I met with Chairman Godwin a few weeks ago, he wanted me to come to this, and we made sure that we had time on our schedule to do this. And I'm going to be heading up to Fort Bragg for Military Appreciation Week as soon as I speak. But I wanted to come and to commend you for having this conference and commend you for pulling these resources together, Small Business Association, those entities that can help. Because one of the things that we know that we're facing right now is the devastation of a 1,000-year flood. Hurricane Matthew. There's not going to be another storm named Matthew because it was so devastating. 28 people lost their lives in this storm. $4.8 billion in damages to our state. And you know all too well that Robeson County was ground zero. I went all over the state to see devastation, and there was a lot of it. But walking downtown Lumberton, walking and seeing the school administrative building and flooded out schools and homes that were destroyed and lives that were changed, it was sobering. And it certainly pushed me to do everything that I could to help. We've made some progress. We provided some funding to get people in better shape. But there is so much more to do. This is why I went to Washington, called together our congressional delegations and our two United States senators. I believe there is a strong commitment from our local delegation in Congress to push for significant aid. I was disappointed in the last round of help. It was not what we wanted. But what that has done is that's pulled us together as state and local and federal officials, as Republicans and Democrats, to go forward together to say to the President, to Secretary Carson, and the administration, you have to help this area of the state. I've invited them to come down to Robeson County and look for themselves. I've invited the President to come down and look for himself to see the devastation that was caused. Now, my Presbyterian philosophy means that I'm supposed to look for something good out of something bad. The something good is that this hurricane and its devastating effects put a spotlight on problems that already existed. Problems of affordable housing, problems of people struggling trying to find good jobs. Those issues were there before. People in poverty, people struggling. So what we have to do is not only work for hurricane relief, but work for long-term structural changes that can help people not only in the Lumbee tribe, but all over rural North Carolina. And we do that, number one, by focusing on education and investing in education. The CEOs I talk to, the small business people I talk to, the entrepreneurs and innovators that I talk to, the first thing they want is a well-trained workforce. They want to know whether you have the people to perform the jobs that I create. And I spend a lot of time recruiting. And I will tell you, the first question they ask me is not, what is your corporate tax? It is, do you have the people? Are they there? I think we are at a crucial point in our state's history. Whether we're going to continue with corporate tax giveaways and tax giveaways to the wealthy, or are we going to provide tax breaks for the middle class and those who are working hard and who need it? And are we going to take those funds and invest in education? I believe the latter is what we have to do now. And I'm going to chambers of commerce, and I'm telling business people, you need to call legislators, and particularly the Republican legislative leadership, and tell them that you don't want another corporate tax, but instead, you want to invest in education. You want to invest in early childhood, Smart Start. You want to invest in pre-K and make sure we get rid of this waiting list like my budget does, presented to the state legislature, called Common Ground Solutions, where we eliminate pre-K waiting slots, where we get our teacher pay. I've got a plan to get our teacher pay to number 1 in the Southeast in 3 years and to the national average in 5 years. I've got a plan for free community college tuition and fees for students who need it. Affordable education is critical to pulling people out of poverty and getting the middle class stimulated so that they can get better paying jobs. And making sure that we fund our university like UNC Pembroke, because they're doing so many amazing things, not only to educate students, but to provide research and to provide an economic stimulus. We have to invest in education, and we have to demand it now. And it's not enough to just say you want to invest in education. What you have to do is to say, right now, we don't need these tax giveaways to those who already have. We need, instead, to invest on what we need. And so it's time. I also believe that this tribe has a future that is positive, and that with strong leadership can make life better for members of the Lumbee tribe. Already you're working on affordable housing projects. Already you're working on cultural arts and preserving culture and helping kids, and that's important. But I have officially requested Congress, something that you've been struggling for decades to attain, something that would improve the lives of everyone in the tribe and the entire region. It would stimulate the economy. And it is way past time for the federal government to officially recognize the Lumbee tribe. And that needs to happen. That needs to happen. There's been such frustration over the years because that hasn't occurred. And I do believe there have been good efforts made by our local members of Congress and U.S. senators. But I have sent my letter, my official request to Congress, and I pledge my effort to work with them to try and achieve this. And perhaps the devastation of Hurricane Matthew can provide an additional push, because we know that response would have been better and funding would have been greater had the Lumbee tribe had the recognition that they have deserved, that you have deserved all along. So, we're in this thing together. We have to make sure that state government knows when to help and knows when to stay out of the way. State government can help by funding education properly, by funding rural economic development. If you look at my Common Ground Solutions budget, we have appropriated money for NC-ready sites that are Tier 1 and 2 counties to help them with infrastructure, to expand broadband. We've got to get all of our rural communities connected, not only because it's needed for education, it's needed for economic development. These small businesses can be in touch with the world and can be opened up to global markets. It can matter significantly. We have a lot to do together. I'm looking forward, Chairman Godwin, to the ideas that come out of this summit, and I look forward to reading them. And I pledge to you that I will work diligently with you to make the lives of people here in Robeson County and all over North Carolina better, because we need a North Carolina that works for everyone. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.